Models and units. Models in the Ninth Age fantasy battles represent epic warriors, ferocious monsters, and lethal spellcasters. Every miniature that stands on the same base is considered the same model. For example, a dragon and its rider or a cannon and its crewmen are considered a single model. The scale of miniatures most commonly used for the Ninth Age ranges from 1 to 70 to 1 to 50 when compared to real-life-sized equivalents for human-sized creatures. Many units are commonly represented by miniatures with a scale in the range of 25 millimeters to 32 millimeters. A common form of measuring human miniature size is measuring the model's height to the eyes. Players are welcome to interpret the scale as they like, as the distances used in the rules do not seem realistic if the scale of 1-to-1 compared to the actual size of the miniatures is used for the game. The Ninth Age does not officially support any particular product line, and you are welcome to play with whatever scale and miniatures you and your opponent have agreed upon. However, it is very important to make sure you mount your models, regardless of scale or size, on the correct base size for the unit entry. Just as we can imagine that the combatants in the game are actually smaller than the miniatures that represent them, we can also imagine that a single miniature does not have to represent a single warrior. We could imagine a unit of 10 elite elven warriors representing exactly 10 elves, or some other group size like 20, 50, or 100. At the same time, a unit of 10 goblin raiders could just represent 10 goblins, but is more likely to represent some larger group of 100, 200, or 500. Characters and monsters are meant to represent exceptional individuals and especially potent creatures that are worth entire regiments on their own. It may be easier to come to terms with a miniature of a character representing not just the character itself, but also their bodyguards and assorted staff that might follow such a hero into battle. Bases. All models are placed on a rectangular or round base. Base sizes are given as two measurements in millimeters, front width times side length. For example, most horse riders' bases are 25 by 50 millimeters. In some rare cases, models have round bases. In these cases, only a single measurement is given, the diameter of the base. For example, a common war machine base is around 60 millimeters base. For all rules purposes, only the base of a model is relevant and determines the model's location on the battlefield, while the miniature itself is not taken into consideration. Multi-part models. Models with more than one offensive profile are called multi-part models. See Characteristic Profiles, page 13. Each part of such a model has its own offensive profile and is referred to as a model part. For example, a cavalry model has two parts, the rider and its mount, while a normal foot soldier has a single part. Sometimes a model has multiple identical parts. In this case, the name of the model part in the unit profile is followed by a number in brackets. For example, a chariot might have 3 charioteers, which would be noted as charioteer 3. Whenever a rule, ability, spell, and so on affects a model, all parts of the model are affected, unless the rule specifically states it only affects a specific model part. When attacking or shooting, each part of a multi-part model uses its own characteristics and weapons. Model facings. A model has 4 facings, front, rear, and 2 flanks. The facings are the edges of the model's base. Models on round bases only have a single facing, which is considered to be their front facing. Model arcs. A model has 4 arcs, front, rear, left flank, and right flank. Each arc is determined by extending a straight line from the corners of the model's base in a 135 degrees angle from the model's facings. Any object at least touching the line that separates 2 arcs, even if only in a single point, is considered to be inside those arcs. For rules purposes, models on round bases have a single 360 degrees arc all around, which is considered to be their front arc. Units. All models are part of a unit. A unit is either a group of models deployed in a formation consisting of ranks along the width of the unit and files along the length of the unit, or a single model operating on its own. When forming a unit, all models in the unit must be perfectly aligned in base contact with each other and face the same direction. Models in a unit that are not in the first rank must be positioned so that another model is directly in front of them, which means that their entire front facing has to be in physical base contact with models in front of them. All ranks must always have the same width, except the rear rank, which can be shorter than the other ranks. Note that it's perfectly fine for the rear rank to have gaps in it, as long as the models are aligned with those of the other ranks. A rank in which one or more models are missing is called an incomplete rank. Following these rules, you are free to field your units in whatever formation, as few or as many files wide as you wish, but this may affect rules that interact with the unit. See 3BB full ranks and 3BC close formation and line formation. For examples, whenever a rule, ability, spell, and so on affects a unit, all models in the unit are affected. Rank and file. Normal models in a unit are called rank-and-file models, RNF. All models except characters are RNF models. Full ranks. The height of a unit determines how many models are needed in a rank in order to form a full rank. See Model Classification, page 75. Units of standard height need 5 models, large units need 3 models, and gigantic units need 1 model. Close formation and line formation. Units are normally considered to be in close formation. Units in ranks of 8 or more models are instead considered to be in line formation. Units in line formation gain the fight and extra rank attack attribute, but don't have any rank bonus. See rank bonus, page 8, and melee phase, page 57 for details on the formations and game effects. Health pools. All health points of a unit are part of one or more health pools. The health points of all non-champion RNF models of a unit form a separate health pool, while the champion and each character joined to the unit each have their own health pool. See Champion, page 92, and Character, page 90. Unit boundary. A unit boundary is an imaginary rectangle around the outer edges of the unit. The unit boundary of units composed of models on round bases is identical to the area occupied by their bases. This means that their unit boundaries are not a rectangle but a circle. A unit usually cannot be inside another unit boundary unless the units are overlapping. See Figure 2 and Interactions between Objects, page 8. For the purpose of drawing line of sight to a unit boundary and determining if its unit benefits from cover, the height of the unit boundary corresponds to its unit's height. See Classification of Units, page 76. Model rules such as skirmisher, tall, or towering presence can affect this. Center of unit. A unit's center is the center of its unit boundary. See Figure 2. Unit facings. A unit has 4 facings: front, rear, and 2 flanks. The facings are the edges of the unit boundary. See Figure 2. Units on round bases have a single facing, which is considered to be their front facing.